Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Radium, and today we're going to be continuing the Terraria Mod of Redemption Druid playthrough. Now so far we've made absolutely amazing progress all things considered, but this episode is more about making upgrades than anything else. Quite frankly, because I have been struggling in terms of just playing the game, and since the weapons and armor we've got right now are definitely subpar for, mechanical bosses, we're going to be looking at some upgrades to begin with. Starting off, there is a weapon I've decided I want to make, but it requires the twins to be defeated first. Despite that though, I've pretty much acquired every single other item for it, so it's called the Sunshard Great Stave. It is a mana using stave, which is not amazing, but then again it's such a good weapon regardless, and I'm just interested in it. So first of all, it requires the Moonflare Stave, which is very simplistic to make. It just requires Moonflare fragments, or whatever they're called again. The Forest Druid Stave requires 8 forest cores, again not that hard to get. The Crystal Stave requires 4 Souls of Light and Night, 5 Forest Cores, and 25 Crystal Shards off the top of my head. And then I've already got the Hallowed Stave, which is just formed of Hallowed Bars. Last but not least, the Souls of each mechanical boss combined, at a Druidic altar, creates this weapon. Before we fight the twins, however, I'd rather not keep using Gravitation, so I'm going to be making Frozen Wings and replacing my Lucky Horseshoe with that. Actually, come to think of it, I may just take my bundle of balloons off, because it's not ideal when used with wings. So yeah, now we're in a pretty good spot in terms of mobility, but I guess there's no time like the present to do the twins. Again, I am kind of concerned about how effective this weapon's going to be. I'm just going to be completely honest, this Hallowed Stave is subpar at best, but it will do the damage required to defeat both of the twins, and with this buff in particular, it's going to do a lot more damage. Okay, yeah, this is going pretty well so far. Again, I really like the summon that the Hallowed Stave gives, but the staff itself is nothing miraculous. And it's going to get the job done, I think, because, I mean, we're already doing a lot of damage to Spasmatism. Obviously, if you've played Terraria before, you know that this is the eye you need to focus first. Just because Retinazer becomes very easy to focus once it's the only eye left. Okay, we're ready for our next summon burst. There we go. I did pop a healing potion as well, and, okay, it's next phase for Spasmatism now. Let's just continue attacking for a start, because, we want to stay as far away from that eye as possible. And, yeah, that's the only real goal for the time being. Okay, this is significantly easier than I thought it would be. I thought this fight would be the bane of my run, in all honesty, but it's very simplistic so far, and this phase is even easier to combat than the first. All you need to do is stay slightly far away from the boss and dash with the Shield of Cthulhu, and you can outrun the boss very easily. Oh, okay, we made it to the end of the world, and I didn't even realise, Jesus. That kind of proves how good our mobility is at this stage. I didn't even realise we'd crossed half our medium-sized world. God, that's crazy, but the eye is almost dead. So 1,000 health on Spasmatism, and the second we've done that, the fight is pretty much a guaranteed victory. Because Retinazer is just an inaccurate spamming device that can't shoot properly. Okay, here we go, the second stage of the final eye. And once this is done, we're going to be able to make some really good upgrades. Additionally, I've been debating whether I want to make Hallowed Armor. But I think I am going to go straight to Chlorophyte in terms of, if there is a set I can get with it. Okay, we're activating our final loss with, the Druid buff, I suppose. And with that, the fight is coming to a close. This is pretty much the hardest part of the entire battle, because it's just the boss, but slightly quicker. But we should still be able to take it out before it takes us out, and I don't even think the boss could do with that inaccuracy. Okay, so there we go. Bingo. So the jungle grows restless, but additionally, Druidic energy courses through the world's ore. Okay, and the lab defense systems have malfunctioned, which is the abandoned laboratory, which appears, I believe, just somewhere random in the world. I don't know how it works specifically, but it's something to keep in mind. Okay, now I guess we have the resources required to make the stave. So first of all, the forest Druid stave. It's kind of like the leaf stave at the beginning, the one I got from the jungle, so relatively, not that important, but still cool to have. Then we've got the Crystal Stave, which is apparently very good, and I was recommended to get this one, because I think Rito Gaming used it in his playthrough, but it doesn't look too miraculous to me, and it wouldn't have made too much of a difference if that makes sense. Then last but not least, the Moonflare Stave is kind of basic. It's like a downgraded version of that weapon, and again, it doesn't look too bad. However, when we combine all of these things together, it creates the Sunshard Great Stave, and we got a Forgotten one, lucky us. And yeah, this thing honestly looks great. We will reforge this for sure. Forgotten actually takes away all of the mana cost, which is really nice, but I don't mind losing mana because of how quickly we regenerate it. So I'm going to reforge it to maybe like Mother Nature, for example. Okay, this thing is very, very expensive to reforge. Jesus Christ. Okay, so blooming's probably the best we're going to get. And yeah, it's not that bad in terms of mana consumption. It doesn't seem to have any, actually. So that works just fine. Okay, I have no idea what this thing is, but I accidentally made a dancing ring stave. So let's just... Whoa. Okay, well, I actually really like this weapon, so I'm happy I've made it. I don't know how good it is as such, but, you know, it's an interesting one to have for sure. Okay, so the first thing I've obviously made is the pickaxe axe. I don't actually know if I want to make this armor, actually. Just because there doesn't seem to be a helmet for the hallowed armor, and that doesn't really interest me much. So I think I'm just going to go straight to the next boss. Okay, guys, using my absolute -3 brain cells, I managed to craft the spawner of the next boss, which is Kingslayer 3, without recording, which was kinda dumb. It can only be used after the Keeper has been defeated, and if I remember we did the Keeper, actually, I may not have done. So we may need to go back and do this fight quickly. Okay, yeah, I just conveniently forgot about this boss completely. This is the Keeper. It is a pre-hard mode boss, so I'm not expecting anything big. But yeah, I just completely forgot about it for some reason. It's an interesting boss and has a really good theme actually, but all that's happened so far is I've got confusion, and the boss is dead. Okay. In terms of resources, it's obviously not going to give us anything too magnificent. And these projectiles are so dark I can't even see them, but, you know, some of this stuff would be really good, I think. Okay, with that done, now let's try and fight this boss. So this is Kingslayer 3. Well, what do we have here? I was ordered to kill a ravaging undead known as the Keeper. However, you killed it before I arrived. You stole my kill. You know what? I don't care if I'm a member of the heroes. You're dead. Oh god, okay. Well, I remember this guy, and he caused me some big problems in my previous playthrough, actually. Which is kind of scary, because I don't actually know what to do for this boss. I'm going to guess this stave is going to be quite good, although the boss is kind of small. So that could be an issue, but we might be able to do this. Additionally, did I mention the fact that I love this song? I believe this is the song for Blade of Justice, which is a really hard Geometry Dash demon. And yeah, this song is absolutely amazing for this kind of fight. Okay, well that's the first phase done. He's going to summon his minions, which I'll just use the Dancing Ring stave for, I think. Again, this thing seems to be significantly better with crowd control. And although there's only 1 minion now, that'll change as the fight progresses if I remember, because there's up to 3 minions later on. Okay, this phase is nearly over now, and we're back to this boss. Yeah, this Dancing Ring stave is not so good against this boss in particular, so this is where the Sunshard Great stave takes priority, I guess. I am getting hit a lot though, which is kind of embarrassing. But at the same time, the fight is perfectly manageable so far, and I am keeping on top of him. Okay, the issue with this fight comes with the fact that every single time he charges, more minions spawn, and these guys are kind of hard to deal with in, like, abundances, I suppose. So the only real way to deal with them is just taking them out before they take you out, and just really out DPSing them. That's about all there is to it. Okay, we are approaching the end of the fight, I think, because the boss is getting really low, all things considered. And we are increasingly doing more and more damage to the boss, which is very nice. Yeah, this fight is honestly going much better than I thought it would. I was kind of scared that this just wasn't going to go well, but oh god, okay, I retract that statement. He's doing a lot more damage. No, how is this happening? Oh god. You haven't even defeated the damn plant yet. How are you defeating me? Oh god. Oh, not this again, I forget. This is ridiculous. Okay, come on, let's just do this without too much hustle fuss. Okay. He does get very annoyed and very dashy, which is probably the worst part of the entire fight. But with the Shield of Cthulhu, you parry most of his dashes, luckily, and he should die quickly enough. Okay, this final standoff is more intense than I remember, I'm gonna be completely honest. Oh god. Okay, the Shield of Cthulhu is massively helping, but his defense seems to be significantly higher as well. And overall, like, without this amazing weapon, I would not be alive right now, honestly. And he's about to do his dash barrage again. Oh god, this is insane. Okay, 1,000 health remaining. And this is where the fight closes off, I suppose, so... There we go, we did it. Oh god. We get the Cyber Loot Box, which is obviously his thing. He drops something we're not allowed to use, unfortunately. And we got no Druid weapon, unfortunately, but again, that's okay. We got a bunch of cool stuff either way. Okay, guys, now it's time to visit the abandoned spaceship for real. So here we are. All of these chests are ours to loot, luckily. Well, ours to loot, I should say. And yeah, we can just look at all of these. This weapon, by the way, looks absolutely amazing. I have no idea what it is, but it just looks really, really cool, and I wish I could use this. Obviously enough, all I want is a Druid weapon. I don't think there will be one, unfortunately. But I might as well just loot all of these, just in case. You never know with this kind of thing. Okay, there we go. I feel like that's all the chests looted roughly. And all I want is those materials. And obviously you can cycle dialogue of the boss, but I believe there is a quest you can get. Which is, again, something, but I don't have it, unfortunately. So I don't think I'll be doing much with this guy. Just because the quests don't mean too much to me, if that makes sense. Okay, now it is officially time to fight Plantera, so what I'm going to do is grab a bunch of dynamites, turn them into sticky dynamites, and we're just going to blow up the entire world, basically. I feel like that's a good way of, you know, making an arena. Okay guys, here's the Plantera arena I'm going to be using. It's definitely not optimal, but it doesn't have to be because Plantera is a relatively simple boss to do. Now, I really don't know what my best weapon's going to be for this fight. I'm going to guess this thing, because the projectiles kind of linger around and the boss will just run into them again and again. But I really couldn't tell you from experience, because obviously I've never used these weapons before. Now, this does seem to be doing a good job in all fairness. Let's try out the Sunshine Great Stave as well, because the other one seems to be lagging the game a tiny bit, which is not ideal, but what can you do? Okay, one thing I definitely need to keep in mind in this fight is I am incredibly weak still in terms of defense. I'm usually used to tanking the boss with like 50-60 defense maybe, but in this case I've barely got any because I'm still using that shroom armor from pre-hard mode, and it's definitely not the optimal outcome in all honesty. Okay, so let's stick with this thing now because obviously we need to take care of the enemies, and having a weapon with Pierce is definitely going to help us do that. And yeah, this doesn't seem to be doing terribly, it's just not optimal either. Okay, the boss is approaching death now, and most of the projectiles have been taken out. So in literally just a matter of moments, I'm going to switch back to the other stave. And we're just going to finish the boss off in a quick DPS race of some sorts, because we are taking a lot of damage. And it's making me kind of nervous. Okay, so 5,000 health. Now it's just time to... Okay, I was going to say spin around the boss, but the Shield of Cthulhu didn't want me to, apparently. And yeah, let's just try and out-DPS the boss, because this is getting incredibly close. Okay, I believe that's it. Nice, there we go. Alright, first try. Plantera has been defeated. We didn't get anything I can use, unfortunately. We got 150 Soul of Bloom, however. And I've never heard of this stuff before, but it makes a really, really good Druid armor. Before we make that armor, however, we're going to fight Golem, and wow, this is not a good temple at all. By no stretch of the imagination is this optimal, but it'll work. And yeah, let's just give Golem a go, because it is a simple fight. And in an enclosed area like this, I'm guessing this is where the Dancing Ring Stave is really going to shine. And again, I guess we'll see. Okay, surprisingly, this thing is not doing as much damage as I thought it would, but that's okay. I'm going to be using this stave because it gives me a little bit more control over the fight. I use control very loosely, however, because it's still going to be ropey, just because the way the staff works. And yeah, this might actually be relatively difficult for this class, regardless of, you know, Golem normally being easy for normal people. Okay, now both hands have been taken out, it's time to target the head with this thing, and this is where the significant DPS is going to come in, I guess, because this thing is way better at single target as far as I understand. And yeah, this is not doing badly at all. Okay, it doesn't even need to be that good because Golem's attacks are relatively weak, and so we can probably take about 10 hits before we die, even with this really bad armor. Okay, the head's about to fall, and that leaves the body exposed. Okay, this is where things get slightly tough, but should still be perfectly manageable at this stage. Because 13,500 health is not a lot to take down, and that's all we have to take. Okay, for a moment here I thought Golem was going to be a very difficult challenge for us, but it appears that it's just as easy as normal. And the boss is about to fall, in which we can just obliterate it, and there we go, Golem treasure bag. In the treasure bag we got nothing we can use, unfortunately, which is not fun. But I'm going to get some living twigs, and we're going to construct this new armor set. Okay, there we go in terms of the forest cores. Now let's make this Blossom Druid's armor. Okay, so here's the chest plate, here's the helmet, I guess, and here's the boots. Now let's equip the armor and see what happens. So, Jesus, that's a big difference. We go from 42 defense to 70, and our damage goes from like 110 to 126. So, there's no real downgrade apart from the 40 life, and it's just a really good set. The only reason I want to fight the Duke really is just to test out this, and whoa, what the heck. Okay, well it seems to speed up stave cast speed as well, because this weapon is much faster with this new Druid armor. And yeah, this is amazing in all honesty, oh my god. Come to think of it, looking at how good this is, I should have definitely made some more upgrades like this throughout the game. Because this is so much more powerful, like these weapons are literally twice as strong with the fire rate. Now I believe the Sunshard Great Stave is kind of shining through a little bit more, because it was good already, but now it's like insane. And okay, we've already made it to the halfway point, and this is decimating the boss, like genuine decimation. Okay, there we go. Alright, we're entering the final phase now. So, I'm not expecting this to be too difficult. It's literally just the 1, 2, 3 pattern we all know and love. And yeah, it's not really hard at all. But, I mean, this was a fun fight to do, and over everything else, I'm excited to see if the boss has anything new to offer us. And it does not look like the boss has anything new, unfortunately. If I go to loot, let's see. No, there are no new items in the loot table. But I will do the remaining 3 fights to see if I can get myself, wait, what's it called again? Oh yes, the fish wings. Okay guys, with that done, I feel like it's time to fight both V-Lich bosses, and that might honestly be where I finish rounding off the video, I suppose. Because I need to do a solar eclipse to get a broken hero sword, which is a boring process to do, but it's one I need to do. Which summons the first V-Lich overlord, and then the second one is like a massive worm boss, which is really cool. So yeah, I'm going to get both of these, and then we're going to hop straight into the fight. Okay, I've obtained both of the spawners in decent amount, so obviously we're going to do the first one first and the second one afterwards. So here is the boss. It's literally just a massive sword, and its design is really good, honestly. It's a cool fight to do. However, having not upgraded any of my weapons yet, this may be slightly more difficult than I first anticipated. And this weapon is not that good for this fight because it kind of requires pierce. Having higher damage is definitely helping though with the new armor set. And additionally, I reforged some of my stuff in between this fight. So I guess it's time to take action. It looks like this is where the second phase begins, and this is where I'm going to switch to this thing slightly. Because obviously the fact that it can target multiple of the swords at once is definitely going to help DPS out. Okay, the boss actually does a lot of damage, but we're almost through this phase now, I believe. However, I do need to be careful because I am just taking stupid hits, or I shouldn't be getting hit basically. And oh god, okay, I'm honestly kind of nervous because this is not going too well. I've already used a healing potion and I'm not doing much damage. We definitely need to look at getting another weapon upgrade, unfortunately. But, I mean, the fight's coming to an end at least, so that's something to cling on to. The main issue with this fight overall is the enemies the boss spawns rather than the boss's attacks himself. On his own, this would be an incredibly easy fight. I wouldn't really give a second thought in all honesty. But just because of everything he summons, the fight just becomes overwhelming very, very easily. And since I don't have an amazing piercing weapon yet, or crowd control weapon I should say, with like homing capabilities for example, we're not doing too well at eliminating them, but luckily enough, thanks to the DPS of this stave, we've won regardless. So let's see, and there we go, brilliant. I'll clear out these enemies and then we can look at the treasure bag. Oh yeah, I forget, we get dialogue from someone very interesting. Would you look at that, an overlord unit has been taken down. Okay, this is slow, fun times. What a shame, that one was almost useful, oh god. So, yeah, we're just being flexed on by this guy, basically, you know. I never expected someone like you take down an overlord. Oh, fair enough. Keep on going. It's rather interesting to see you attempt such a feat. He. Yes. It's Michael Jackson, and... oh, we've got a Gyrus dagger, and oh my god, this is a cool weapon. I wish I could use this. No. I really wanted to use that thing. With that done, however, it's time to go on to the next boss, which is the Gigapede. For this fight, I'm going to be maining the Dancing Ring Stave slightly more, but we still need to take down the V-Lich core with this thing, because again, single target DPS is easier with this. Okay, this boss is a lot harder than the previous one, oh my god. Okay, so this may require some upgrades before we win, but at the same time, if we're lucky, we would be able to manage. It's just going to take a minute for me to adjust, basically. And the way the fight works is you take down this thing, which allows you to damage the boss, then it spawns another one once it gets lower in health, and it just continues doing that until the boss dies. In truth though, this is my favourite design of pretty much, well, almost any enemy in the entire mod. The V-Lich bosses altogether look really, really cool, but just this one in particular looks great to me. Okay, this core's on the cusps now, and now we can attack the actual boss again. Again, I think that this thing is still the best weapon, even though it's not great. And it's literally just because of the tiny amount of pierce it does get, but it's still just not the best thing in the world for this fight. And yeah, we are doing pretty well. I remember both of the V-Lich bosses taking a couple of tries in my original Mod of Redemption playthrough, so the fact that I haven't played the mod in a long while, and I'm doing relatively well against them means a lot. Okay, I believe this is the final core for the battle, and once this one is defeated, the fight is over. And then that means we have done 2 or 3 of the V-Lich overlords throughout the entire game. Obviously, the final one, the Omega Obliterator, is slightly later on, but that's okay to deal with. Okay, here we go. It's on the cusps now, and the boss is at its final form. And yeah, hopefully we can just obliterate it before we die, or we just run out of time, I suppose, because these fights can only be done at night, as far as I understand. Okay, the boss is on the absolute cusps now, and we've done it. Nice. Well, that went significantly better than expected, and now we can just take these out, go loot the loot box, and let's see what we get. So, okay, nothing too interesting. Obviously, the second overlord is down. Wasn't my creation, though. In fact, it was our... ... Oh, God. That doesn't matter. Congrats, you defeated a black and red worm machine thing. Thank you. Oh, God, okay. I feel like we're being bullied here. Now, the next overlord is a prototype of mine. It's already quite the fighter. Yep, good luck. Thank you. And yeah, I guess that's pretty cool, because we've got this stuff to make some new items out of. With that done, however, I think I'm going to end up this video here. This was a really good fun one to make, I suppose. And that mainly comes from the fact that we destroyed a bunch of bosses, found some really powerful weapons, and just overall had a great time with it. So thank you all so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, then feel free to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, I will see all of you in the next one. Peace out, guys.